Hey everybody, here Eliseo. Just wanted to do a little video of my new setup here. I used to have this speaker on this box. This is actually a Roland bass, the cube, but it got old and it's a little distorting a little bit. So I just got a Bema 12-inch. This can handle, is rated for 900 watts. But what I want to say is that even though this is 900 and this is probably like 50, 60 watts, that doesn't mean that this is going to sound 10 times as loud as this. What happens is we're limited by physics. This is so you can use a 900 watt amp and you're not gonna burn it. Of course it's gonna be louder than this, but it's not, it's probably twice as loud. That's the formula. To be twice as loud, you multiply by 10 the watts, and it has to be the watts that the speaker can handle and the watts that your amp has. This amp is 1200 watts when you use it as a bridge, as a mono amp. But I'm not gonna bring it up. I'm just gonna keep it halfway. Okay, so I don't put the whole, because if you bring it up and then you put a bass with a preamp, you also have to use a preamp with this, you're gonna burn the speaker. Because this is not made to do that kind of watts. Anyway, so the thing also is that even with this amount of watts, even if I use this one with this speaker and the preamp and everything, this speaker is limited to a certain amount of power, of decibels. See, the watts are not decibels. Some people think because you have a 300 watt system, you have X number of decibels, and that's not true. You also need a box, a physical box that can reproduce that sound pressure, like X, amount of pressure. So what I'm guessing here, because this is not scientific, but this is my other amp. This is my Trace Elliott, the 410s. Even with this amp, when this amp is 150 at 8 ohms, I think. So if you put it like this with the bright box, it would be more. It'd be like almost double. I don't think 300, but at least 250, let's say. I'm guessing that this setup is gonna be louder than this setup. Just because the speakers is bigger. I mean, you see, this speaker, this one, is gonna push more air. It has all this. It has 410, so that's 40 inches of air, plus this. This one, 12 inches. So even though this is gonna be louder than this one, I don't think it's gonna be. They're probably going to be, that's my guess, and I hope that I'm right, because I want to take the small setup, the Bema with the crown, or even without it, but to sound loud I'm going to have to bring the power amp, and let me turn on the light here, okay, and sound as loud as I sound with the Trace Elliott's, which is this one. Did you see this outdoors, very loud. This for indoors, it's gonna be loud enough, I'm sure, for indoors, because I have a good speaker, so now it's producing more vibration. But still, this might be louder because it has more surface. So the watts are So you would have to do a scientific experiment. You have to put about a meter. You have to put a meter, a meter for decibels at about a meter distance, and do a signal, certain frequency and at a certain volume, and then that's gonna tell you how many decibels this is gonna be. And with dynamics, it's gonna be changing all the time. Decibels is the power that the amp is pushing, the pressure that is pushing the air. Watts, it's only a rating for the speaker and for the amp. So the ideal for me would be to use the 1200 watt amp at a half of it, limit the volume to half, use a good preamp, and then use the 900 watt woofer, and that's gonna be loud. That's gonna be loud enough for, I think, for any gig, I'm hoping. Or you take this monster, but the thing is, this is heavy. It's a little heavy, so I like it when I can. If it's a situation where I don't have to carry it upstairs, because this is just way too heavy. But that's also why it sounds better and louder, because the box is giving you an enclosure very strong, and the speaker is pushing the air. Okay, so that's if you have that's why if you have a lightweight speaker, it's not going to have that much bass, because the bass it can't push the air if it's not heavy, so we are getting to a point that now the speakers are smaller and more powerful, but that doesn't mean that a 300, let's say, once I played with a 300 watt bass amp, but it was like, it was like this big, like this, and it didn't sound, it was, with the band, it was like distorting, and it was but the guy, thought because it's a 300 watts it's gonna sound loud. No, it's not. You need the room, you need so probably this one's gonna sound louder than even this, or maybe the same, probably I can get like the 80 or 85 dB that you need for to play as loud as a drummer outside. All right, thank you for listening.